Okay, this book is called Journey into the Light. Journey into the Light by Mr. Thomas Regan. And I'm just going to read some little extracts from his wonderful book, Journey into the Light by Thomas Regan. The start of the book starts with January 1980. You could hear the sound of early bird call. The foghorns moaned balefully all the way from Hoath, beckoning the morning that was touching up the hill with a pale shade of dawn. He lay on his bed, impaled to it in sweat and fear. Sweat trickled down his forehead and saltily tickled his eye, making him blink. But still he did not move. That it was becoming day was clear to him. What was not clear was his desire to face it. He had for some days been imagining vividly scenes from other people's lives, people who to him were only figures on a stage or out of a page of a history book. These images he felt compelled to commit to song. He had never written before. The scenes he saw inside his head smothered him like a heavy kisses of a lover. He was completely seduced by them. He was the receiver, passive, submissive. Before he went to bed that night, he spoke animatively of his newfound muse. He looked so proud of himself. He was like a child. It was in the eyes. Something was happening to our Nicholas. After he retired for the night, his mother called Jonathan and told him of his brother's strange behaviour. He did not seem alarmed. Perhaps he had a little too much to drink, or maybe he was smoking something he should not have been, but it did not sound like anything to worry about. At 4 o'clock that morning, she found him on his knees beside the window in his bedroom. His face was covered in perspiration, and he was very pale. He was staring into the imminent dawn, shivering and cold. His mother took a hold of him and coaxed him back to bed, where he just lay quietly, staring straight up at the ceiling. He never spoke a word to her. He just complied tenderly with her motions, steering him towards his bed. He moved about the room, legs of steel, feet and hands heavy and strong. His back felt like the trunk of a tree. He threw a punch. His hand felt like a sledgehammer. He kicked to the side, his leg muscles rippling as he locked and curved the line of his foot to strike a fleeting blow through the air. He floated step by step through moves he had practiced for years. Now they fitted into place. The flow of power seemed to rise like a fountain of energy from the base of his spine to the back of his head and out to every nerve ending in his system. "Nicholas, dear boy, what are you on?" asked Jonathan, watching from the floor. "Fresh air. Well, can I have some? How did you manage that?" "It's easy. Watch." Jonathan watched in wonder and dismay as his young brother moved about the room through a series of martial moves, which, though Nicholas, earnest-faced, felt to be powerful, in fact appeared in their execution to be infinitely average. "It's just grace," said Nicholas with a smile. "What day is it, Nick? Do you know?" It's today. I can hear music and I can create a song. I can talk to the moon and I can live with the flood. This is my time, Jonathan, my time." "Yeah, it is. That's great, Nick. I'm delighted for you, but we're all a little concerned about you. Do you know that?" Nicholas was standing, still facing his older brother, the doctor, the friend, the confidant. He was confused by the directness and the quietness of Jonathan's speech, thinking as he was of battles and fighting. He had not expected this gentle approach. It disarmed him and left him trembling. He started to shake and to cry like some wounded animal. He buckled at the knees and would have fallen to the floor had his brother not caught hold of him in time. Nicholas cried out in a frustrated, helpless wail, "Jonathan, Jonathan, Jonathan, what the fuck is happening to me?" As a doctor, Jonathan could not rightly say, but he knew that his young brother needed help. He got him to undress, which he did meekly and helplessly. Without protest, he lay into the bed, giving Jonathan a fearful look as he rested his head on the pillow. Connie was outside on the landing, looking to Jonathan for any help he might need. He summoned her now with a wave of his hand. She sat beside Nicholas, too shocked to speak. She simply kept rubbing his forehead and his dark wavy hair as he stared blindly into the middle distance. Dr. Finn spoke rapidly to Mrs. Kane and Jonathan, while Connie and Beatrice listened. He must be moved now. Every mental hospital in the city of Dublin was mentioned. No one could tolerate his waking in any of them. He walked in a swoon to the river, Alan at the wheel, Jonathan in the back seat beside him. The grey rug around him was like some misty aura in the morning gloom. "Jonathan!" Yes, Nick, take it easy now. You're okay. The ship is going to come down, Jonathan. My ship is arriving. We must all be on board before it's too late. No problem, Nick. We'll make the no problem, Nick. We'll make the ship all right. We're on our way there now. You know where you are, don't you? Yes, I do. Better than you. I'm on planet Earth, and I want to get off. They were older and wiser, but as hospital grounds flayed out to swallow their car, both of his shoulders, brothers, and tears in their eyes. The walls peel back from every room that you hide in. Terror waits like Satan at the top of every stairs. People join the frenzy in wide and innocent stares. You're on the run from everyone and nobody really cares. So I'm in this lonely room tonight. I'm sweated and I've prayed for a little light. And the smoke rings swirl in circles all around my head like halos say, "Hey man, I think that I'm a prisoner for the night." Many hands took hold of him. The male nurses had to kneel on his backs of his wiry arms and legs to make him still. The syringe was readied after two had broken. Finally, they pierced his skin and brought an end to the howling screams and the violent sounds of struggle that shook the ward. While ghosts served him tea and bread and jam in the middle of the night, gentle, womanly hands guided him to the washroom to relieve himself. Soft touch wipes the sweat off his brow. Soft clothes cooled with magic water were laid over his eyes. Soft words answered his screams and cries, and the Black Mother of night descended to bring him sleep.